Good morning, everyone. Hi, I'm Belinda, and we're here for our home yoga practice live this week on June 23. I already see some folks got in here before I did. Sorry for a little bit of a delay. Good morning, Claudia. Nice cooling down, right? We got some temperature drops between yesterday and today. And I will say that it's been nice to have that happen and come on down. So today, as the beginning of our week, we get a new kind of thematic to work out and maybe explore about developing our personal practice. And so I've got a little bit of some whiteboarding and some stuff to do some chitty chatting before we do a bit of movement. But bear with me because I left my tea. And now I have my tea. And I found something else I wanted to bring. Feel free to make a comment in the comment section just to let me know that you're here. Good morning, Ansel. Thank you. Okay. Needed my tea. All right. So good morning. And for those who are new to Home Yoga Practice Live, you might be like, wait, why aren't we like jumping up and down and doing a whole bunch of movement yet? My journey in sharing this has been in hopes of helping folks develop ways to deepen or just start to create that personal yoga practice. Yoga is an 8-limbed tree. And out of that, there are so many other branches that we need to be exploring if you're wanting to really dive into being a yoga practitioner, practicing all 8 limbs of the yoga. Otherwise, say that you do asana, and then that would be kind of accurate. All right, so over the time since the year of our COVID began, I've shared elements, and feel free to go back. I think I'm going to make a library just about the specific thematics, but we've talked about the 5 layers of the body: our physical body, breath body, mental body, wisdom body, and then that internal spiritual body, and how to extend our connection to those bodies. We've talked a little bit about our chakras, different energies, primarily along the Hindu system, not really exploring the Andean systems or different Egyptian systems or even some other African nation systems. So, or even Chinese meridians in terms of looking at qi in our energies, subtle energy systems. So I'm also wanting to be far more keenly aware that I want to share and not blend practices, but make people aware that some things can be seen through different contexts and through different cultures, so as to not be appropriating, as well as just to deepen our awareness, because sometimes we walk around and be like, I was working on my chakras, and we don't even know like where that term came from. The 8 limbs themselves, and I will go through that one more time before we actually get moving here today. We've talked about how to make a space, your actual physical space, and making space inside of yourselves for accessing and or your practice. Help me out. Oh, obstacles to practice. We did that last week, talking about what are the different things that come into our lives and our own behaviors that start to inhibit us from actually wanting to do the thing. Okay. So today I wanted to put a structure together for us to work on throughout the week. And if anyone was along last week, I gave us a little bit of a homework assignment over the weekend. So let me know, how did it go when you confronted your own obstacles, if you actually did it on Saturday, Sunday, and Monday? I would love to know. Or if you just want to send me a message on Facebook or send it to belinda@justbeyoga.com. That'd be great. I really do want to get a little bit more feedback here, guys. We are in live. All right. So here's what I wanted to talk about today. And that is, so hopefully, how do we start to then put some wheels in motion, putting a plan in motion for us to actually start to dive into our practice. So I hope you can read this. There. All right. My light system here is so bright. So basically, we need to look at the what. We need to look at time. We need to look at our observation or journaling and guidance. So the what is, what are we actually going to be practicing? So when you're thinking about practicing at home, what is it that you want to practice? Are you wanting to practice which of the limbs are you wanting to practice? You can pick a couple, but I probably wouldn't say, oh, let's try to do all 8 right now, right? Time. We'll talk about this a little bit more. But how much time do you have? When do you want to be doing your practice? And over how much time do you want to assess and then reevaluate and take it to another level? And then your observation. And that comes into that journaling. And we'll talk a little bit more about that. And then guidance. Who are you getting your guidance from on your practice? Stick with whoever it is. But how do you pick that teacher? How do you pick the person who's guiding you through your practice? Have you given that much thought at all? All righty. So that's enough whiteboarding for now. Time. No, sorry. The what? All right. Asana. I think that for those of you who have been coming regularly, you have a practice. But do you need to be guided through it? Do you always do a certain kind of posture that you really love? What are the postures that you stay away from? So if you're wanting to start to deepen into asana, really start to feel that out. Okay, do I really lean toward power? Where's the balance in it? Do I need to do a little bit more yin, slowing down? Do I always do the core kind of poses? Do I really shy away from the heart openers or the back bends? And how do I start to access them? I wouldn't pick more than 1 pose or 2 poses in a week to say that you're going to deepen an exploration of. And that doesn't mean to sit in them for 2 hours, but to add them into your practice and to come at them deliberately, come at them into an alignment base, and then looking at your edge as far as how long you can be in it with a quiet mind or the busy mind. And then how do you start to extend that? All right. So that's just a dabbling on asana. But let's say you're saying, well, what do I want to practice? Let's just briefly go through all 8 of those limbs one more time here. Yamas, and that's how we treat the outside world, or how we interact with the outside world. Want to be truthful, want to not steal. We want to be kind, not nonviolent in our thought or actions. Moderate in all things. The Japanese term for that might be harahachibon, right? 80% full. Don't go 100% full, 110%. We back it off. And then aparigraha, non-hoarding. Got to let all that saturate in. That's the first limb of yoga. You could decide, I want to practice that first limb all week, all 5 of those things. There you go. You'd be working your yoga and get to observe what you notice about what changes in you, what you learn about yourself. Second limb, how we treat ourselves. Purity, purification of the body, mind, and our words. Dedication or devotion or discipline. Santosha, contentment. Self-study and observation, as well as study of sacred texts. And then surrender. Surrender to what we don't know. I'm going to change that around. I used to say surrender to something greater than ourselves, but surrender to what we don't know. So that leaves a little space for whatever belief systems that we have. But that humility that comes with saying, I don't know. All right, asana, we already know. That's the third limb, practicing in the body and connecting with the body. The fourth is pranayama, our relationship with our breath. Do we know our capacity and the possibility within our breath? Senses, our relationship with all 5 of our senses. Are we enamored with them? Do we shy away from some? Do we over depend on some others? Focus, that's dharana. Dhyana, meditation, and then unification of all of them. All right, so because I have 2 of you who have already made a comment, would you mind letting me know? Just type it in here. What do you want to practice? So if we're going to say for the next 7 days, I want to dig into this. Let's make a plan. Go ahead and let me know so I can see something. And even if you haven't already commented, go ahead and type something in. Let me see what you got, what you're thinking of. And we're going to work on making that plan. So as I'm waiting for them to type in anything that you're considering that you want to practice this week, the next is time. All right. So let's be realistic, right? Let's not leave today and say, I'm going to spend 2 hours a day. Yeah, that's a setup for failure, right? So let's be realistic about how much time that we have. Even if it's just 5 minutes or 15 minutes or 20 minutes. Hi, Anissa. That's great. Share something that you might want to be practicing. We're setting up a plan for a 7-day plan of something that we want to develop as a practice plan. All right. So how much time? Let's be realistic. And then what's the duration? Over how much span of time do you want to do that plan before you switch it up into a new level or a new thing to practice? All right. So let's think about that as a loop. The what, the time, the observation, and the guidance, and then start it all over again. All right, so we got to be open and honest. I would say right now we're saying 7 days. 7 days is going to be our duration, and then maybe for the span of time. Yay, thank you, Claudia. All right, so good. Let me chew on that. And then we could say that the time that we're together being 60 minutes. But I hope, and I'm going to ask for all of us to maybe let's pencil out some time away from being in front of a screen, because then it's truly yours. All right. And consider this guidance time. I'm not saying that I'm the only guide. I would be honored, but let's just consider this. Okay, this is where I'm getting a template. And maybe there's a great guru that you really like. Maybe there's a private teacher that you've often gone to. Who is your guide? Now, observation. I have brought out an example of some observation. This is a journal that, with stuff, that is mostly last year into this year. All right. And I write down the plan that I said. I also then write down each day my observations of what I'm exploring, what came up, what was hard, what was easy. And at least at the end of each week, I try to look back and say, oh, yeah. And before each practice, if I can remember, looking at the day before's practice and go, oh, yeah, that's what okay. Now, that just is kind of keeping me committed, bringing in that svadhyaya, that self-study. This is another journal. I have had this journal now for 25 years. And I just call it my book of energy, of my chi, my prana, my everything. And this combines so much about learnings, about how energy moves. I see that Ansel is here. So I have a lot about yin and yang theory even in here, but in me rewriting it for myself so that I understand it, not just, oh, somebody said it was this way. All right. So this one has a long, deep meaning. I have quotes from various shifus, various lamas, various gurus, yoga gurus. This is my own like personal Bible of my journaling. And it really has helped me over the years see a progression of my understanding of energy, my understanding of my journey of self-awareness and self-awakening. And that is our yoga. Lastly, guidance. Have you given much thought to who is my teacher? Who do I go to? How do I choose a teacher? Okay, because choosing a teacher is a part of one's practice as well. We can't just like stumble into the person who's randomly teaching a class at the Y and go, oh, yeah, they are now guiding me on my enlightenment journey. But maybe it is. But let's bring some intention into who our teacher is. What is it that you're looking for out of this person? How is it that they're walking in their practice that you admire? What is it that you wish to be taught by them, right? I can remember my very first shifu and me making a decision. Yes, I'm going to continue to follow her. And then I remember meeting another teacher and I'm like, and I want to follow this one. But I spoke to the first shifu before I ran off and I didn't leave the first shifu. And we set up parameters for what it was I was going to be learning from each. All right. I know that some of this might be like, really, Belinda, you want me to do all of this? You can do whatever you want to do. I'm just helping put together a plan and a guide to help us. All right. And it gives intention to your journey. We're not just stumbling about. We're also not just stretching. If you want to just stretch, maybe I'm not the teacher for you. Go ahead. You can come into the live and leave. And that's cool. My feelings aren't hurt. All right. I think right now, develop a foundation to do the work of place, compassion, and vision. So much to be done. So steadiness, asana. Okay. I like it. All right. So what I would suggest is pushing through my workouts, building consistency in other practices. Wonderful. Well, thank you. First of all, Ansel, Claudia, Anissa, for sharing. Wonderful. Make that your what. Okay, so if you want to choose like a way to outline out your pages in your journal, however it is you want to do it, it can be electronic. As you can see, I like to have an actual hard. For some reason, it comes out of my body, comes out of the pen. Feels like more of a commitment for me. Make your what. Now, all of you have listed a few things that blend some asana as well as some of the yama niyama, right? When we're talking about dedication, right? We're talking about tapas in the yamas and niyamas. When we're talking about steadiness, that's another way of looking at tapas, Anissa. And then balance, body and mind. Okay, so you want to like look at the body, look at the mind. So I would say dhyana and asana for Claudia. So there you go. Make that as your list. Be honest with yourselves about how much time you have each day. And that could be, 20 minutes, like I've said before. Choose the time of day that's reasonable, not the should, right? Don't be like, first thing in the morning, when you know that it actually is never going to happen because of whatever else goes on in your life. All right. So let's pick our spot and then see what we can do to say, I'm going to make this happen. Put alerts in your calendars. Put it in your whatever, watch a doodle, whatever it is you need. Maybe get an accountability buddy, someone that you say, hey, I'm going to be doing this practice. Maybe they're doing it too. And you both hold each other accountable going, it's 12 o'clock, you said, all right? Not in a shaming way, but just to be like, yes, I am committed to that. All right. Now, let's go to the guidance and study before we get into the observation for each of your plans. Look up some stuff. So you got to start to ask yourselves, what is guiding me? All right. I brought out some things because I thought that I have some folks who are in the older category. That would be me. But this is Lilius Yoga. Again, that's washing out. So sorry. The name of the title is Lilius, Lilias, ! Yoga. And that's by Lilius Folan. And she is an older lady who studied with BKS Iyengar. She's considered to be like the PBS yoga lady from back in the 70s because she introduced yoga on public television. She has a great system here about midlife and beyond in our practice. I'm not saying this is only for the old people, not just the me's out there. Great perspective of blending in all of the 8 limbs in our practice. So if you want to get a book, great, but look up what it is you said you wanted to do. If you're into your focus, look it up. Choose a few passages that you're like, I'm going to study this, and then begin your practice. All right. Part of yoga, I've talked about this one before. This one is a great one to have in your library. Very easy to chew. Very easy to read. This is a simple book. Does not go through a lot of the principles. But if you're looking for how to do various postures, it just is a posture to posture kind of thing. This is not a flow. Lastly, this is about energy. This is a beginning. I'm not saying this is all exclusive. I just went and grabbed a couple of things before class and brought them into the room. I've got a library that's crazy. All right, but this one is called Charge of the Body. Charge and Energy of the Body. It's by Anadea Judith. And she really talks about chakras, but she does blend in other systems, but about our chakra and our relationship to our energy as charge and discharge. And that makes a lot of sense to me, electrically, oh yeah, I've got a charge and I need that balance of the plus and negative charge. Okay. Everybody, make your plan. Take a moment and say, okay, this is what I'm working on this week. Throughout our week, whatever it is that you've chosen that you're working on, have a 1 or 2 deliberate postures that you're saying, I'm bringing into that mindset. If you also need then the extra guidance, besides what you can look up with a teacher, who is that person? Who's the person that you're calling or you're texting or you're writing to and saying, I'm confronting this in some of my mind energy. I'm confronting this on consistency, listening to myself instead of just pushing through. Who do you ping that against? Because if we're only pinging it with ourselves, sometimes, right, the projections from our mind are not as accurate as having the guidance of someone who you respect, who is leading you in this practice. All right. So make that a part of this journey, even if you can only reach out to them maybe 3 times out of the 7 days of the week. Okay. All right. So what is Belinda working on? Belinda got to work on a huge observation over the last few days of some samsara. Samsara is an endless cycle of suffering, meaning stuff I repeat and keep going, oh, dang, I'm still doing that thing. And I really know that I need to slow down. I need to find that focus. I need to definitely be reaching more out to my gurus. Okay. So the slowing down. And so for me, it's a more pensive practice. Now, if that means that you are not in that slower bit of practice, you do you. All right. You do a sun salutation. You get your heat up. All right. So let's go ahead and set aside any journals, pencils, and stuff in your space. Check in right now with your what it is you are practicing. Feel the craving or the need within you. Mentally check in with your physical body right now. How are you? Check in with the breath body right now. How are you? Particularly for Claudia, who was saying about balance between that mind body. As we're doing this inquiry, maybe feel out which of the two have actually been in charge lately. We come into the mind body and we ask, how are you? So has the breath body ever gotten a chance to kind of be in charge? Has the body been in charge, or has the mind body been in charge? And for Ansel, I would send out the note of there are 2 more bodies beyond that. Our wisdom body. Cultivating that body, it's one that has that intuition, that insightful being. How often have we turned the steering wheel over to that body to guide us in our decisions, in our behaviors, in our actions, in our words? Now I'll invite us to bring an awareness into our senses. Notice whatever's touching your skin. What information is your skin sending you in temperature, texture, touch? Are there areas and folds of this organ of skin that we're not even aware of right now, even though it is a part of us? How do we build more awareness in our senses through our skin? To develop an awareness of the truth of the present moment, of what is. Coming to our sense of smell. Taste. Sound and hearing. Sounds closest to us. Sounds outside of the room. Sounds outside of the building. Try not to identify the source of the sound. Just feel your ears hearing. Sight. Feel your eyes seeing without identifying what we are seeing. Gentle neck rotations, waking up our awareness of our neck and our throat. Feel your connection right now to the what that you are practicing and bring it into your movement. Which of your bodies is dominating right now, and can you bring some balance to that in your intention? Change your direction. Shoulder rotations. Change your direction. Channel spinal twist. Stay in your present moment, in the truth of the now. Notice where your mind is. Is it working on a goal, or can you keep it right here? And switch direction. A part of some of those cycles, those repeated cycles that I said I'm working on, is noticing how much I actually do get married to an outcome. I get married to an expectation. And a part of this practice is practice and detachment. And I thought, it was like, well, I thought I know how to do that. And let's gently release. Let's go ahead and lengthen the legs out in front of us. Fullness of our awareness of the truth of occupying our physical frame. Point and flex. ankle rotation. Find your alignment in your bones and your skin. Breath in, maybe lifting the arms up, maybe you're not. Maybe this brings a mindset of super duper exertion of energy or effort. And maybe that isn't where we need to be for what we're practicing. And forward fold. Maybe using a strap, maybe not. Breath in. Breath out. What's lengthening and what's rooting? And then extend that thought beyond physically. Allow for yourselves to explore what would lengthening and rooting be in my breath. How do I practice that? How do I will that into my being and my mind, in my thoughts? Lengthening and rooting. Now lengthen and root into our wisdom, into that wisdom body, that intuitive body. Rooting, meaning a certain degree of trust, a certain degree of foundation. Where's the breath? And we'll bring ourselves up. I'll invite us to come to our child's pose. So we'll come to hands and knees and make our way to child's pose. And close the window so that maybe we hear a little less of apparently a dump truck that has decided to come in my neighborhood. Now, so just so that you all know that for me, with that humility that I need to start to reconnect with, that's going to mean some inversion, some turning over my faith and my trust. You don't have to do them, all right? So we'll roll it up till we're sitting back on our heels, hands behind us, thrusting the hips. Feel the awareness of the front of the body, all of the skin wrapping around the front of our body. And hips down, coming back to child's pose. You can hold your heels or ankles, bring the top of the head down, and lift the hips or shoulders. For rabbit, I'm going to go to headstand A. Breath. Bringing it down, back to child's pose, slowly rolling it up. Hands behind us, feeling our root and lift. What is the truth in your senses? Inquire of all of your bodies. How are you? Releasing, coming back to rabbit or headstand A if that is a part of your practice. I am not breaking that down today. So go back to the rabbit unless this is a space that you know how to practice. And back to child's pose. Rolling it up, hands behind us. Lift the hips. Expand, stand, breathe. Bringing it back down, hands out in front of us. I'm going to say downward dog. Now, before you go anywhere, pay attention to how you get yourself there. What are you aware of? What is the truth of the moment? Oh, of body weight shifting. If I slow down, what do I get to observe a little bit more? What do I get to put intent into? And then lifting the hips up when you're ready for downward facing dog. Butt up, heads down. What is the intent in your toes in terms of spaciousness, in terms of ease, in terms of rooting? What about intent in the heels? Intent in the backs of your legs, lengthening and rooting. Breath. Ease up around anything that is fighting. And try to let go of your practice right here, being psychoanalytic. Come into a sensory awareness. That's all, sensory. Let's step forward. Again, bring intent into how you bring your foot forward, how you bring the other leg forward, and let's hang out ragdoll. Inquire, how are you? Give enough time to hear it back. When you're ready, rolling the spine upward. Standing in mountain with intention. Be in all 5 senses as best you can. Balance. Notice the comings and goings of the mind. Be in the now, not in the thoughts and the projections of the mind. Breath in and forward fold. Don't start pre-journaling. Be in where you are. Half flat back, lengthen and rooting, lengthen and rooting. Physical body wisdom, breath body wisdom, wisdom body wisdom. Right hand down and revolve. Maybe that hand is on a block. Do you remember how you got here, or did you quickly twist without intent? What's giving you root and support? Release, bringing the other palm down and revolve. Now, oftentimes these personal practices, number 1, may not be a full hour. Number 2, you may go through 3 poses. That may be all the time that you have, but that you spent that time like really right now. I'm like, ooh, is this left arm, how much support is it giving me? If I shifted forward or back, there's so much to explore. Oh, am I pulling the shoulder blades away, or am I forcing? Am I in the jibber jabber in my mind? Where am I? Am I practicing contentment? And release, forward fold. I'm going to widen my feet a little bit wide, maybe as wide as the width of your mat. I'm going to angle the feet out about 45 degrees, and then I'm going to sink it down for a squat. Now, this is going to depend on your hips and your knees. You could choose something that's a wide hip space. If your hips and your knees aren't liking this, chest up, I had noticed, because I have the benefit of a camera in front of me, that I was kind of slouching my energy, what's lengthening and what's rooting at the same time. Press down evenly through the soles of both feet, coming up, reach, expansion, exhale, bringing it down. Inhale. And exhale. So balance in energy here. You could kind of focus on, oh, am I giving a lot of thrust down below, but it's soft when I come up? What would be an even distribution of my energy and intention? Don't just dump it down, control it down, and don't be in a hurry to come out of it, feeling the levels of engagement. It's an area to explore. Am I really still lifting and lengthening, or am I waiting? Did I take a pause or a break in my pose, in my practice? Good. I'm going to kick the heels out, side bend, while it's moving. Be in all five senses. What can we hear right now? What are we sensing right now? And lift. What was the energy that brought us up here? Exhale over. Did we thrust with the arm? I did. So I'm calling myself out. Are we standing in our legs? Where is the mind? And bringing ourselves back up. Good. Hands to prayer. I'm going to widen it out into a warrior two. Scooping the tailbone under. Building into this structure. And I want to close my eyes here. And maybe you don't want to close your eyes. Maybe you want a completely silent space. How do you want to engage in withdrawing from a single sense and explore the truth of the moment that is here? I'm going to transition to the other side. So I straightened that leg, spun on that heel, spin, sink. And I'm going to stay with the pratyahara, the sense withdrawal from sight that I chose here. Remembering my intention, which was my what of my practice. I'm trying to let go of an expectation. The expectations I have of what my physical practice should look like or feel like. Sitting in the truth of what is actually going on. In my body, in my breath, in my mind, in my wisdom, in my surrender to that which I do not know and I do not understand. And bringing that up, I'm going to spin on that heel. So now legs wide, feet parallel, getting ready for Prasarita Padottanasana. I'm going to do a back bend. So I'm going to find a clasp or a strap. Knees are softening. Feeling my rooting investing in my rooting, hips forward, offering my chest. And coming forward when we're ready. What is the state of the neck and the jaw? The eyeballs. Can you feel the weight of your ears? What is the truth of this now? And now, this now. And this one. Let the arms go if you haven't already. Hands down, stepping both knees down. I'm going to bring myself up to a seated space. Again, if you're new to our home yoga practice live, I'm Belinda with Just Be Yoga, and today we're talking about creating a plan for a practice plan, that personal practice development plan. So this isn't a class that maybe you're thinking, well, I didn't do a lot, and also like, oh, and where's my Shavasana? All right, because to use our time wisely as we leave, I'd like to leave a little bit of space and time for anyone who has any question about, okay, wait a minute, I think I want to make out my plan for the week. So if you have any questions about something that you want to write in your journal or anything about anything that I've said, please, let's do this now. So go ahead and plug anything in that you want to share. And I'll talk about as we kind of depart from our practice. I like to depart from my practice. So I like to graduate up and then graduate down. So, if I sat in a meditation, I want to end in that meditation. If I did a meditation and then a breath and then asana, I want to go, then asana, then breath, and then meditation. So we did kind of a visualization meditation to begin, and that was that inquiry of the bodies, of how are you? So I'll invite us into that space. You could do it lying down. Letting that dust settle from what got moved in whatever energetic body we're talking about. Scan the physical body. How are you? Scan the breath body. How are you? Now turn your mind's eye gaze into your mind and let the thoughts do what they do and watch them. Watch them like toddlers running in a room. Ask them and ask your mind, how are you? And receive those answers. And feel the feeling. And then inquire of the wisdom body. Even observe if you notice that you're like, I don't even believe I have one. That's a part of it. Your intuition, your ancestral wisdom. If you need to say to yourself, I'm calling to my ancestors. How are you? Are they feeling ignored, unheard, tired? And I'll invite us to bring our hands to the heart center, and that is up to you. Okay, so this is a mudra of the Anjali Mudra. You could end with your palms on your knees, palms open, or palms cupped like such in the mudra of acceptance or presence. That's fine. You could have it here or here. You could be in Janana Mudra, index finger and thumb connected. Bring it to a darker surface. Index finger and thumb connected, connecting our individual spirit with something more universal, feeling our unending cycle of connection. You could be here. It's up to you. But just wherever it is, have an intention. Be deliberate. Sincere. All of the light and love in me is deeply grateful for and reflecting of the light and love that is in you. And that is my translation of Namaste to share with you all. So thank you all. I'm going to stay on for a few moments. If anyone does want to have some discussion about making your plan and how to execute that this week, if you're going to follow along. Tomorrow, we're still going to have a power day, but within the context of our practice. So maybe that means there are one or two poses that you're going to say, yep, and within the context of my practice, I'm going to add that in. And I'm going to try to be mindful to hold some gaps in our practice and say, and now, for those who have been following along this week on their personal practice development, find your pose right now, okay? And let's see how you start to connect with developing your personal practice. Maybe you want to be outdoors. Maybe you want to be indoors. All right. So I'm hanging out here. Send me some thoughts. It could be about picking the guide, a teacher. Do you feel comfortable having a yoga buddy? Yeah. Thank you, Mariette. Wonderful, wonderful. Thank you for joining us. Hopefully, come on back. And like I said, you all, I'm going to, I think I'm going to go back and review through all of the home yoga practices and pick the Tuesdays. And I'm going to make a playlist that just kind of shows the thematic lessons of those weeks. Amanda. Ooh, abandon asana goals. You go, kiddo. Woohoo! But I had a friend who I greatly love and respect, but she had said in the beginning of the pandemic home yoga practices, she's like, whoa, that makes, she said that she felt like the home yoga practice takes her back to teacher training. Um, and I've always felt that teacher training shouldn't be anything that's exclusive to people who want to spend a couple of grand. We should be exploring the depth of our practice, because otherwise, what are we doing? So I really like the thought of, yeah, let's learn something and see how to do the thing, because that's where the nourishing and the healing and the transformation gets to happen, is if we actually do the thing. Oh, thank you, Marlette. Thank you. All right. Well, so just to observe and to abandon asana goals. So Kim, write that down for your week, your intention of your week, that is what you are practicing. Look at some things that you might want to read that help you on observation and all the other limbs outside of asana. uh, oh, Amanda, thank you. So Amanda, if you do want to send me any individual questions about your practice this week, feel free. And within my time that I have, I'll share some thoughts with you on how you can just take the baby steps toward it. I gave you homework. This whole class has been homework. What are you talking about, girl? Go do your homework, chart out your thing, and do the thing. Hopefully you make reasonable time choices, etc. The names of the books, I certainly will. All right. Yay. Thank you so much, Marlette. All right. So Lily S. Yoga. And Lilius is an amazing woman. So that's one book, Lilius Yoga. And that's by Lilius Folan. She is amazing. And then The Heart of Yoga by TKV Desikachar. And Ansel, if you're still here and have any questions, even within a Tai Chi context, I'm happy to talk about it. I really love that Ansel's been joining us. He's one of my most treasured Tai Chi students over the years. So I love kind of feeling out that energetic blend of Chi and Prana, charge and the energy body, by Anodea Judith. And remember, everyone, the books that I'm sharing are in no way, I'm saying it's not exhaustive, but a good start for various things. Lilius, again, if you're feeling like you're in a midlife to older life, because she really talks about the grace of working with the changes that go on in our bodies. And I was like, amen, honey, I need that. TKV Desikachar just really gives a humble and loving experience through the 8 limbs of yoga, and I appreciate it. He's the son of Krishnamacharya, who is sometimes seen as or referred to as the grandfather of modern day yoga. And then How to Use Yoga by Meera Mehta. Alrighty. Well, I'm not seeing any other inquiries. As best I can, I hope that I'm able to share, and it's been a deep honor to grow in this with you all. To try to feel out, well, what does home yoga practice mean? Literally, one day I was like, well, I'm going to practice today, so I'm just going to turn on the live and do it. And look at where we are today. So it has really helped me grow and helped me continue to try to find ways to, as honestly and openly and vulnerably, that's enough adverbs, to share, how I try to find practice, and watch me stumble, and let's all stumble and grow and get back up together. All righty, everyone. Yay. Wow. Wonderful share, Claudia. Deep, deep, deep bow of respect to you. All right, everyone, get your journals. Keep sharing. I really, really, I love today. We've had some good interaction today. So I'm like, man, we're doing these lives, and I feel like it's one way, and I don't want it to be one way. So yeah, enjoy the rest of your day. The temperatures are going to keep cooling off if you're here in Michigan. So enjoy it, because it got a little hot. Namaste. See you on the flip side. Oh, stay tuned too. I'll be putting out a location for our outdoor yoga this week. I think we only have time for one this week because it looks like it might rain on the weekend. All right. Peace, everyone.